Hello everybody, welcome back to Screenstars, welcome to another of my top 10 lists. Today's top 10 list is a top 10 list that is going around YouTube at the minute. Now, in actual fact, I think I might have been tagged or certainly shown an interest in this top 10 video a couple of months ago. I think Blu-ray Ben did a top 10 list very similar to this. However, this top 10 list is directly linked to Lisa Loves. I saw her do a top 10 list of the most famous films, I suppose, that she's never seen. And these are all films in my top 10 list that could be regarded as all-time classics by many people, but I haven't seen them as yet for a variety of different reasons, and depending on the film, I'll get into that as we get onto the list. So I hope you enjoy this list, everybody. Feel free to take part. I'm not going to directly tag anybody or anything like that, but please do feel free to take part. And of course, I do hope you enjoy watching the list. So coming in at number 10 on my list is Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. Rightly regarded as an all-time classic, martial arts sweeping epic. It's going to become a common theme in all these films. You know, you're a little bit embarrassed to say you haven't seen some of these films, and this is definitely one of them. And the only real reason I can give is at the time when it came out, I was certainly a lot younger, and I was more into more traditional action films and certainly more traditional martial arts action films, you know, the Van Dammes, Seagulls, that sort of thing. And I wasn't that interested in foreign language speaking films. I was a little bit naive in those days, and I've just never got around to watching it. But it's certainly something I will eventually rectify, as I know this film is going to be absolutely superb when I do finally get to see it. Coming in at number 9 on the list, and I didn't focus too many on like classic films from like the 40s, 50s, 60s even, because there's an awful lot of them that I just haven't seen, and that's a generational thing. I think there's lots of young people these days that haven't seen some of the films that we adore in the 80s and things. But I think The Great Escape is a fair film to put on this list because it is regarded as one of the greatest, certainly war films of all time. And it's one of those that has probably been on TV while I was young, like my dad may be watching it while I was like maybe sat there. But I certainly have never given this film any attention and watched it all the way through. But it's one of those films that used to show all the time in the UK on bank holidays and things like that. So yeah, I've never seen The Great Escape, as odd as that might sound to many of you. It's just a film that has never really particularly interested me, and that's just the way it is. Coming in at number 8 on this list is Prisoners. Now, I put this on the list because I know it's got a fantastic reputation. And Denis Villeneuve, who directed it, is one of my favourite directors, certainly at the minute. I loved his Blade Runner 2049, and I loved Dune that he's just done. I loved Arrival. I think he's a really incredible director. So this is a film that I have definitely earmarked to watch, and I've just recently picked it up as well. So I've just shown it in my collection update that I've put up today. I can't actually remember, but I've got it. It's in the collection. It's on the shelf, ready to be watched, and I'm hoping to watch this in the coming weeks with my wife, and I'm sure I'm going to enjoy it because it looks an incredible film. And I'm really actually quite looking forward to checking this one out. But yeah, I've never got around to watching this one so far. Coming in at number 7 on the list is There Will Be Blood, the Daniel Day-Lewis film that won him, was it his last Oscar? Was this his last film as well that he appeared in? I'm not 100% on that one. I know this has got a tremendous reputation, the Western drama, I suppose it's fair to say. And again, when this came out, was it 2007? Something like that. I might be wrong, completely off the mark. It's a film that never really particularly interested me, and for the most part, with the odd exception, films that kind of do really well at the Oscars and things like that, I'm not overly interested in because I find award ceremonies really snobby for the most part, and I don't usually buy what films they say are brilliant. But this is a film I definitely need to check out, if only for Daniel Day-Lewis's great performance. Again, this might surprise many of you. I've never seen Pan's Labyrinth, the Guillermo del Toro fantasy horror classic, I suppose. So yeah, I don't really have a viable excuse for not watching this. I'm a fan of his work. I think he's one of the most visual, creative directors out there. I've enjoyed pretty much everything he's ever done in regards to as a director and a creator. So this is one of those oddities in his filmography that I've just never got round to watching yet. It's another one I do intend to rectify. And I know some of you that are watching this list will probably be quite horrified that I've not seen Pan's Labyrinth. It looks visually superb, and it is definitely one that I am looking forward to checking out because it does look visually very interesting and striking at the same time. Next on the list at number 5 is V for Vendetta. Now this came out, was it the mid-noughties, something like that? And I don't remember this making like a huge impact when it was first released. Maybe even you could argue middling reviews. So I think this came out at a similar time as Sin City and things like that. And I remember loving Sin City. And remember thinking, I'll miss this one. Mainly because I'd never heard of it. This V for Vendetta. And I didn't like the look of it. I thought it was too overly stylized. All that kind of stuff. And I gave all these reasons for not watching it. But it seems to be a film that a lot of people talk about these days as to actually being far better than it was given credit for. So it's a film that I genuinely do want to check out at some point, for sure. Same as you, Lisa. I have never seen Taxi Driver. And it's, to be honest, while I would probably watch it if someone sat me down, or if I was flicking through and it was on Film 4 or something, I might check it out if there was nothing else on. It's not a film that has massively interested me for a lot of different reasons. Maybe the age of it now kind of puts me off. There's a lot of reasons why I'm kind of like, I'm not sure I can be bothered. But yeah, I mean, fairly weak reasons really, but it's one of those that maybe I will get round to watching eventually. But it's a film that I recognise is well respected by many film lovers, but it's just one of those oddities that I've just never seen. I've never got round to watching this one, but I've never had a huge desire to watch it at the same time. Very similar story for Apocalypse Now. Again, like you, Lisa, I've never seen it. Now, there are a lot of reasons, again, for this that all kind of add up. I'm not a massive fan of war movies, as I'm not a massive fan of gangster films, and I know this isn't a gangster film, but sometimes there's genres that just don't click with you, and war movies for the most part are one of those genres that just doesn't click with me. There are some exceptions, Saving Private Ryan for example, We Were Soldiers, so I mean there are some that I do watch and really enjoy, but again this I think came out at a time when I was not into this, you know what I mean. They came out in the late 70s I think, this one, and I was far more interested in Star Wars and Indiana Jones and things like that, and then as I've grown up I've just never watched it, so maybe I'll get round to rectifying it at some point and check this one out. Coming in at number 2, Fight Club. Believe it or not, I've never seen Fight Club, and again it's one of those films that came out, got all the plaudits in the world, was, you know, renowned by everybody as being like this brilliant film, and I was certainly a fan of the director. I loved Seven. I'm a fan of an awful lot of his work, but just never appealed to me, this one. And now I kind of know the twist, just from, you know, the history of the film. It's been out there a while, and it's hard sometimes to avoid spoilers and twists in films when they've been out for such a long time. I'm not sure it'll have the same impact on me in regards to knowing the twist and things like that, but again, maybe it's one that I will eventually check out, but I've got no real deep desire to do so. Number 1, and this one even I don't understand. I've never seen Fargo, and I can't explain why. I can't even give you any real good reason why. I like the directors. I like pretty much everything they've ever done. The tone of it looks perfect for me in regards to the humour and the black humour and the comedy stylings of it. The cast looks incredible. I genuinely can't give you a good reason why I've never seen this one. I've just never got around to checking it out. And it is one I definitely want to rectify. This is why I've put this one at number one. I mean, all of these on these lists, you know, there's no real particular order, but I do think this one is right to be at number one because I think it's regarded as a really fantastic film, and I've just not seen it yet, unfortunately. So there you go, guys. That is my top 10 list of the most famous films, I guess, that I have never seen. Is there some surprises in there for you? There are some films on that list that I have every intention of rectifying and getting around to seeing, and there are some on that list that I still don't have a huge amount of desire to watch. But all of them on the list I would probably check out at some point if someone sat me down in front of some of them. Is there any of those that surprise you guys that you thought I would have seen that I hadn't? And do let me know, guys, in the comments your top 10 films that you haven't seen, or feel free to do a video as well if you've got your own channel. I would love to check out your video to see what your choices are. So thank you very much for watching, everybody. Of course, I will be back with plenty more reviews and content on the channel very, very soon.